Third Down Chirp Spring Football Show is presented by Dillman's Furniture. Greetings and welcome inside the Spring Football Show. Third Down Chirp back at it again, presented by Dillman's Furniture. I'm Kyle Viner alongside Pat Boylan and Chris Renkel once again. Guys, springtime, you usually think of baseball, but no. Football season is back in business.
Yeah, and judging by the weather, you wouldn't have thought we skipped a beat, but still technically off season, but nice to see the pads hitting the pads.
You know, very excited after last season and all the success Ball State had. This fall, I'm really excited. A little bit of a tease, still got to go through the rest of the offseason, but great to be back.
Before we touch on this upcoming season, let's take a step back. One of the feature packs that we did last season from Joel Bragg and Josh Blessing on Keith Winning.
In just 2 seasons, Keith Winning is on pace to be one of the top quarterbacks in Ball State history. His journey to Muncie goes straight through the heart of Coldwater, Ohio, a town known to many for one thing: high school football. This is Cavalier country.
For Coldwater football is almost everything. You know, every Friday night, the whole town seems to be out at the stadium watching the game. So, you know, Fridays are huge during football season in Coldwater, so it's great to have that community where everybody follows the football team.
Coldwater attributes its success to Coach John Reed, who in 15 seasons led the Cavaliers to 14 playoff appearances and 2 state titles. After being a backup, Winning finally started at quarterback his senior season. He wasted no time rewriting the Coldwater record books.
We had a great amount of success, and we also had some downfalls there. You know, I learned a lot there. You know, starting from junior high football to high school football. I'm happy to have the coaches that were in my football career there.
He is an all-around athlete, and I think John Reed just kind of maybe formed it a little bit, and Keith had great success here.
He's the best coach I've ever had. You know, he taught me more about life than he did about football. The main thing he taught me and my other teammates in high school is don't take anything for granted. You know, you never know when something's not going to be there. You know, you never know when you're not going to be able to play football or something more serious.
December 2009. Less than a week after the Cavaliers finished their regular season, tragedy hits. The face of Coldwater football is diagnosed with esophageal cancer.
We had a real close relationship, and you know, it was hard. I would just go over there and talk to him to his house and stuff, and he'd always say he was all right and stuff like that, but you know, I knew better than that.
But like he did his entire life, Reed put his team first and chose to hold off chemotherapy until after the season. Coldwater would go on to the state final that year, losing in what would be Coach Reed's final game on the sidelines.
May 7th, it was tough, and I'm just looking back on the memories and stuff now, and I'm just thankful for them all.
Coach Reed's lasting impact has transferred from Coldwater to Ball State, and although he's not on the sidelines, he'll always be by Winning's side, every day, every game, and every snap.
He's with me every game. You know, I wear this on my wrist every day since he passed away. I've had this on my wrist, and there's not a day that goes by that I don't think about him or look up to him and wish he could still be here. So, you know, during the games, I'll just look down at this and know that he's with me, and he's gonna help me out any way he can.
For Ball State Sports Link, I'm Josh Blessing.
Well, while we're talking about last season, in your guys' mind, in Coach Lembo's first year at the program, what do you think stuck out in your mind as being one of the bright points?
Well, Ball State fans have never been, I don't think, so excited to have a 6-6 season. It's just 500, but they were bowl eligible for the first time since the undefeated season in 08. And really, for Coach Lembo, that 6-6 season compares pretty similarly with his first year at Elon, where he went 5-6. His second year in Elon, they went 7-4. Now they play one less game in the FCS, so obviously you got to take one more game into account. But I think Ball State's kind of hoping for that same jump this year to be 7-5, 8-4.
You know what? I agree with you. And you you talk about the new coaching staff and everyone that they brought in. I remember this time last year we're going, who the heck is this Pete Lembo guy coming from Elon? And he brought in a bunch of coordinators that he knew from around. And one guy he brought in we really didn't know a whole lot about, Dave Feely. He might have been the biggest pickup of that coaching staff, revolutionizing the Ball State weight training program and strength and conditioning, and he was a big reason why the Cardinals went 6-6 last year. And I'm excited to see how the team responds to a whole offseason under Feely's program.
Yeah, the numbers are quite impressive, what they're putting up in the weight room right now.
They are, and if you look at the bench press, last year at this point, 31 guys could bench 300 pounds. Now that number is at 60. You look at the squat, last year at this point, 31 guys could squat 400 pounds. Now that's at 59. Those numbers both times just about doubled, and for that gain in just 1 year, it's phenomenal. I think we're going to see a much stronger team on the football field come this fall.
And not even that, it was best put in an article I read about Feely. He's like a kid with a sugar high and a caffeine addiction. Just the energy he brings to this team, and the players really respond well to it. I know they all respect him, and he makes you excited to come out to practice and excited to play football.
All right, well, let's keep things moving forward here. And for the offensive side of the ball, talking about this upcoming season, let's send it to Tim Fogarty down the field.
Thanks, Kyle. You know, making the switch from high school football to college football is a huge difference. Having to switch positions during that transition, that's a whole different ballgame. Sophomore receiver Willie Sneed knows exactly how this feels. Sophomore receiver Willie Sneed makes catching the football look easy. However, his switch from high school quarterback to college receiver, in his mind, was a bit shaky at first.
It was pretty hard for me, you know. I thought I'd be cool with it because my receivers comes from a lot of receivers, so I thought it was gonna be cool. But you know, I had to really get my footwork right again and get stronger, and then you know, transition to the college level. You know, it's a lot faster, and you gotta adjust to it.
Willie made a pretty smooth transition. You'd love to redshirt every freshman, but inevitably you're going to need some guys to play right away, and some guys are going to be the best players and deserve to play right away.
Being unfamiliar with the receiver position, Sneed relied strongly on his athleticism.
Last year, you know, I didn't really know what I was doing. You know, I was just out there trying to, you know, make plays and go off of talent. But, you know, watching film and, you know, working out hard and, you know, doing all the little things, it really helps you out. And I think it really helped me out because last year I was getting thrown around. I was like weighing like 185. Now I'm 193. People aren't really throwing me around. And I'm really doing what I need to do and what I've done in the past. So, you know, just all the extra stuff, the little stuff after practice and that really helped me.
The negatives of the position switch were obvious. The positives, though, are often overlooked.
Playing quarterback, you know, you have to have a good relationship with your receivers, and I feel like, you know, I can relate to what Keith is doing and what he's going through, you know. It's tough playing quarterback. You have to read defenses and make the right decisions.
The main reason you love to have ex-quarterbacks in your system is the fact that they've had responsibility on their shoulders in the past. And when you get to the college level, that responsibility gets spread out to all 11 positions. So the fact that Willie has been in a leadership position before helped him come in and play as a freshman.
After a 10-catch performance against Army last season, Sneed now has enormous expectations.
It sets my standards up there. You know, people know what I can do now. You know, I can put up 180 yards in one game. So, you know, I have to produce.
I think his confidence was beginning to grow even before the Army game. He came in early, graduated early from high school, knew that getting a jump start on his college football career was a priority for him, and was really able to take advantage of being here in the winter and spring.
Both Coach Lembo and Sneed think his off-season workouts have been key.
Extra work on my footwork because my feet were really slow. I wear like a size 15, so my feet are, you know, kind of heavy. So I gotta do jump ropes, ladders, and all the extra stuff to make sure my feet are quick, so I can, you know, make an illusion I'm going so fast, but I'm not really that fast.
He's really been able to take advantage of the strength and conditioning program under the guidance of Dave Feely, our strength coach. And Willie is out here this spring, and he's playing with greater confidence because his body's allowing him to do more things.
Entering his second season at receiver, Sneed is setting the bar high.
I feel like we can do big things this year. I feel like I can do big things, and I feel like, you know, if I just, you know, just keep working hard in the summer, you know, not settling, you know, if I drop a pass, that just shows that's something I need to work on. You know, you're going to see a whole different Willie Sneed from last year.
For Ball State Sports Link, I'm Timmy Fogarty.
Good job there, Timmy, and let's keep talking about that depth chart, guys, presented by Papa John's Pizza. In your mind, Chris, what kind of sticks out to you on this offensive depth chart as compared to last season?
Well, you look at the wide receivers, and, you know, you lose your top two receivers in Gibson and Orangebond, but Lembo really redshirted a lot of guys coming in, and I look for Shane Bell He's a sophomore player. He's been here for a couple years. Another one of those Glenville guys, but he brings a lot of size. He's 6'2", he's pretty big. He's got good speed, and he's got great hands. He's really made an impact in the spring so far, working his way up to that second team range right now. I look for him to fight for some playing time and possibly get a lot of catches. And then Jack Tomlinson, after a dismal sophomore season where he was really hurt, he looks healthy and good to go, so look for him to have a big impact.
And the running back position's made a 180-degree turn from last year. I mean, this was maybe the biggest weak point on the offense last year, and now it's maybe the strongest. You look at Juwan Edwards, who had that great freshman campaign. A guy like Barrington Scott will be coming off that leg injury, but the additions potentially of Horatio Banks, who's Corey Sykes quick, and Tony Williams, the Tennessee transfer, he's going to be fun to watch. All of a sudden, this went to maybe their deepest position.
Yeah, should be a very, very interesting battle in the backfield. We got the offensive checked off. Let's go ahead and check out the defense, and for that, we'll bring in another SportsLink correspondent, Katie Hargett.
Thanks, Kyle. The defense lost some of the best safeties in school history, including Sean Baker. So now the starting position is open and the battle is on.
We've got to replace some guys who've played a ton of snaps for us in Sean Baker, Josh Howard.
Award-winning safety Sean Baker and Josh Howard left big shoes to fill, especially All-MAC safety Sean Baker.
What I took from him and I use now is basically probably watching more film, you know, studying formations and everything, and just learning the game. And when you learn the game, you play faster. I mean, I learned about composure. You know, he leads Ball State interceptions and everything, and he uses his smartness to make plays. He, you know, was one of the best safeties to come out of Ball State, and he taught me a lot of things.
Usually, I try not to think about, you know, the big gap and the things he did. I just try to come out here and just play. You know, I know he had a lot of accomplishments, but I'm just trying to take it day by day.
17-year-old Chris Pauling from North Carolina graduated early just so he could practice with the team this spring.
By the middle of my senior year, I just decided to commit. And I always knew I was going to graduate early. So when I committed, I told them I'll be here in January. The transition here was kind of different. The kids, they were bigger, faster. You know, it seemed like I'm one of the faster guys. So I feel like I transitioned real well.
And although Pauling had an early start to college, with the help of Coach Lance, the players feel right at home on the team.
I make sure I communicate with him, especially after every play, to make sure I'm doing just the little things right. So after every play, he'll tell me, you know, how my footwork is, where my eyes supposed to be, where they was. So I mean, that's on a day-to-day basis.
My relationship with Coach Lance is a good one. You know, I can actually come and talk to him. You know, as a, not even as a coach, as a friend. Then, you know, then he gives me tips. And then on the field, you know, he knows how to talk to us. You know.
You know, where with the older guys, a lot of times you explain it one time and they get it. You know, with young guys that don't have that game experience, you know, sometimes it takes a guy making a mistake in a game to make something really make sense for them.
Players don't only study for classes, they also put in hours outside of practice to learn the Cardinal way.
Watching film and coming out here and try to fix everything I just seen on film, and actually going over the playbook. So those two things really helped me out.
I've been comprehending, getting all the plays together, you know, and playing fast. So, I mean, I want to start. I mean, who doesn't want to play?
In my opinion, they're very eager guys that are, you know, willing to please and looking for their chance to contribute.
The competition between Jones and Pauling has not only brought out the best in them as players, but also helped develop a friendship.
Well, me and Brian Jones, we compete every day. You know, we watch film together, though. We make sure we know the plays on the field. We make sure we're pushing each other so we get the best out of each other.
It's a good competition, you know, friendly competition, but, you know, competition brings out the best in both people. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's making us both better.
Competition is good, but Coach Lance knows seeing improvement is key.
You know, the thing I want from those guys is to try and get better every day. And as we get into the season, get better each week. And I think as long as they'll do that, then when it's all said and done, we'll be happy with where they're at.
For Ball State SportsLink, I'm Katie Hargett.
All right, Katie, thank you very much. Let's take a look at the defensive depth chart presented by Fox College Sports. Pat, you look up front there in the trench, a lot of transition, but they might even be better than last year.
Well, when you lose 3 out of 4 defensive linemen, you normally don't get better at that position, but I think there's a good chance for that this year. And this is a position where I think the depth chart might change the most from spring into the fall. But you look at You look at the Ohio State transfer, Jonathan Newsom. This is a guy that played at Ohio State. He wasn't a backup. He played. Brandon Newman will be coming in at defensive tackle from Notre Dame. He's not even here yet. Matt Mosley is back after a one-year suspension with the team. You also have Nick Miles at the defensive end position, and you bring back Nathan Ollie, who had a great it was his second year, but his first year really starting. I think this is a position that's going to be the most improved from last year to this year.
And you talk about guys that you got to replace. Aaron Morris, of course, having that trouble with his grades. He's not here anymore. And the guy that they brought in to replace him, Kenny Lee, is much like Morris. He was a defensive back, cornerback. He's moving to that strong side linebacker, and he might be even better than Morris. He's got the defensive back speed, and he's 6'2", 219. That's more of a linebacker kind of body than Morris had, so look for him to really make an impact. And then Julian Boyd also trying to fight in the backup spot there and get some linebacker play. But watch for that strong side linebacker position. It could be a good battle.
Yeah, Coach Bateman's got a lot of new guys coming in. It's going to be interesting to see how he kind of places them throughout the defense. Let's switch back to the offense. This time, Pat caught up with Jamil Smith, a wide receiver for Ball State, but from Muncie Southside, and Pat went back to the high school and had a chat with him.
Ball State wide receiver Jamil Smith has been called a lot of things. Too short, too small, not a Division I athlete. And in his battle to prove all of those labels wrong, he's earned a new one. Hometown hero.
Indiana, basketball state. In Muncie, all they did was play basketball. So I played basketball with my friends. I actually got involved in football in Indianapolis. I lived in Indianapolis fourth grade year with my mother. She got me into football, and then from there on, I've just been playing my whole life.
And as Jamil progressed in football, he continued to catch coaches' eyes. So much so that they named him the starting quarterback at Muncie Southside High School as a sophomore.
All the way through middle school, we watched Southside play, and we did their offense. So I played quarterback in 7th grade, so it all transferred when I got here. People think I was a running quarterback, but I was actually a dual threat quarterback. I threw just as many times as I ran the ball. I preferred to pass the ball.
Smith shattered school records in passing and rushing, but his size limited his recruitment. So without a scholarship offer, the choice for Smith was clear: the school right down the road.
I always wanted to play college football. Being close to home, my senior year, a couple members of my family here, no, I didn't have any offers either, so I wanted to stay as a hometown guy and try to get Ball State as good as we could be.
For Jamil to make the jump from high school football to collegiate football, he first needed to make a switch from quarterback to wide receiver.
I had to learn how to run routes perfect, how to look at defenses, know what the corner's doing. So it was a hard adjustment. The biggest challenge was just getting my shot, because they have scholarship players that they have to try to use. So getting opportunity was one of the biggest challenges.
Fade, Jamil Smith. Outstanding catch, touchdown, Ball State.
As a coach, you love to have ex-quarterbacks in your program. I remember years ago back at Lehigh, we had 16 ex-quarterbacks playing for us in all kinds of different positions, from safety to outside linebacker to tight end to wide receiver. Jamil is a guy that's had responsibility put on his shoulders before. He's had to be a leader. He's had to be vocal. And now you take all of those traits and you move it to the receiver position. He has a good understanding not only of his own role within the offense, but everything else that's going on around him.
At 5'8" and 138 pounds, Smith is the smallest player in Division I football, something he feels actually helps him.
Know what you are and know what you aren't. So I use to what I am, small, quick, agile, to my advantage.
When they first turn on the film and they see his size, they're probably not overly concerned, but the more you watch, it's hard not to respect his productivity and the success that he's had so far this year.
I know everybody, I can always remember everybody that said something negative towards me about my size and what exactly they said. I know exactly what everybody said.
As Jamil enters his junior season, he's even more focused to make his goals a reality.
As a team, I wanted to win the MAC championship, go to bowl games. Like after our games, I'd have a lot of people from the Boys and Girls Club coming up to me,
shaking my hand. I know all of them. A lot of people from just where I'm from in Muncie, so I love it. I love it.
For Ball State Sports Link, I'm Pat Boylan.
All right, guys, time to look at the schedule for the 2012 season. A little bit interesting because the Cardinals only have 5 home games, so an even tougher schedule. But in your mind, what is the game to watch out for?
You're absolutely right. They're going to have to be road warriors this year if they want to go to a bowl game. But for me, it's the first game of the year. It's against Eastern Michigan, and I compare it similarly to the Buffalo game last year, which was the first MAC game. It was game 3 or 4 into the year, but that's a must-win in my opinion. You're at home. It's a team you beat last year, and if you lose that game, you go at Clemson, at IU, and versus South Florida, 3 straight BCS programs. You lose that game, and you could unfortunately be staring 0-4 very easily in the face. I think you got to win that one, not only just because of the schedule that comes after it, but because you always want to win those early games and keep the fans coming back.
You know what, I look at the South Florida game. This is a game last year that Ball State went to Tampa to play, and they just got absolutely annihilated. Ball State could not hang with them. I think 1 year later, they're going to compete. I mean, South Florida lost some of their big playmakers, but the Cardinals now have them at home, and Ball State retained a lot of their big guys. So, you know what, I'm giving them a shot against South Florida, plus it's family weekend. You know, a Big East team, the crowd's going to come out. It's time to make a big showing. They beat the Bulls in that game. You're looking pretty good for the rest of the season.
To me, it's going to be the last home game of the year. It's going to be against Ohio, the MAC East champs from last season. But you look at that game, that's the Cardinals' last home game, but it's only a home game in the last 5 games of the season. So they're going to have to eke out some sort of win there because obviously, like we know, the road is going to be tough this year. So I'm going to say the game to watch and the game to win, hopefully for Ball State, will be the Ohio game. Well, guess what? Kelly Page is on the field, but he's also in SportsLink now. And we got a little help from him, taking us through a day in the life of Kelly Page this spring.
All right, so about to go get my ankles taped real quick, get my shoulder stretched out before practice. Gonna come back, gonna watch a little film with the coaches, and then gonna head out to practice for the day. So now I'm gonna get my ankles taped. Only person I let tape my ankles, Sean Comer. I like some softer tape, so I use stretch tape on my heel locks. Do this before every practice, just to loosen my arm up. So now, gonna go grab my stuff, go to our quarterback meeting, and watch some film.
That's a corner, then the next guy is where?
Outside, number 2.
Next guy is where?
Inside, number 2.
Okay, the next guy is where?
Over the back.
Now you're on the strong side. So basically, everybody has inside help.
All right, so we just got done with meetings. Gonna go down, put my pads on, some cleats on, my knee brace, and head out to practice. First, I'm gonna put my knee brace on. Stupid knee surgeries.
Dude, that knee brace stinks, dude.
Make me wear a knee brace.
All right, look.
My favorite player on the team right here, Horatio Banks.
But get your stuff off my side. Tell me about that.
Gonna grab my helmet and head out.
Hey, 47, 47. Red! Right, go! Hey, 47.47. Ready! Right, go!
Well, we're almost out of time here, but I'd like to remind you to check out ballstatesports.com/sportslink to check out more features from this show and some other features as well. The Kickers are going to have a special piece on them as well, but also other sports throughout Ball State. Check it out, ballstatesports.com/sportslink. As we close out the show here, guys, in your minds, looking forward, what are you most excited for this upcoming 2012 season?
Kyle, your freshman year, you got to watch a football team go to a bowl game.
It was nice.
That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that Chris and I get our chance at watching a football team go to a bowl game. Very good chance, very tough schedule, but I think they can do it.
You know what, with all the new players coming in, but we got the same old Pete Lembo, and he knows how to win football games. I'm excited to see how this team responds after having a consistent coaching staff for the second year now. It's going to be interesting.
April 21st, right here at Schumann Stadium, 3 o'clock is the spring football game. Come on out, open to the public. For everybody behind the cameras and Chris Renkel and Pat Boylan, I'm Kyle Viner. Thanks for watching Third Down Chirp.